Hi, this is HardballRetro. Welcome to the Retrodome. Today we'll be conducting part 2 of our series here with how to conduct a draft in out-of-the-park baseball using version 2024. But you should be able to execute this in most of the recent editions of the game. Part 1 of the video conducted the draft using the players from the 2002 season. So now we're going to do a quick run through of um, the pitching staff and the lineups for each team. And then we'll get underway, we'll simulate a season, and we'll look at the results. Alright, so my team is the Angels. Here's our pitching staff. So down here in the lower left corner, you've got starting rotation. This is what the computer selected post-draft. I can go in here and tweak the rotation if I'd like. I can modify who's my closer, setup man, middle relief, long relief, and so forth. I'm going to leave it as is. Go back here, lineups and depth charts. Alright, I'm looking at versus right-handed pitchers using the DH, so here's my current lineup. And we have a depth chart over here. I can go in, I can create a defensive sub. So for first base, they have Mark Race as the defensive substitute for Derek Lee. And I could go in again and add or subtract here, modify how often this player would, the second player would get playing time, and so on. But I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds here. Versus lefties, same deal. I can tweak this lineup if I'd like. Alright, so let's go through the list here. We've got the Diamondbacks. And here's their lineup versus righties. Alright. So Timo Perez leading off. We've got Barry Bonds on the D-backs here. Not going to name every player in every situation. I'll just point out some interesting things here. So he's got Bonds hitting cleanup versus lefties. And I go to pitching. Here's his pitching staff. Looks like John Roush is on a pitch count there. Alright, he's got no closer. He's got a bunch of setup guys and middle relievers. Alright, next team. Got the Braves. Braves pitching staff. Millwood later, Levon Hernandez, Dan Wright, Britt Reams. Trevor Hoffman is the closer here. Go to lineups. We've got, that's our overview. You know what, I kind of like that view better than the whole, it's nice to look at the depth chart, but here's just a quick glance versus righties versus lefties, so I think I'm going to do that moving forward here. So Scotty Rowland, Paul Konerko, Luis Gonzalez, pretty stacked middle of the order here. Alright, let's go to Baltimore. Baltimore's got Jay Gibbons leading off here versus righties, Steve Finley versus lefties. He's got the Giambino hitting third. Mark Loretta, Benji Molina catching there. There's Mark DeRosa, the manager of Team USA for the World Baseball Classic, I just saw. And let's go to pitching. Pitching rotation of Clemens, Russ Ortiz, Rick Helling, John Stevens, Wayne Franklin. So back end, maybe not so hot there. Antonio Osuna, the closer. Decent setup, middle relief there. Boston Red Sox. And he's got Ted Lilly on top of the rotation, Jeff D'Amico, Sidney Ponson, Chan Ho Park, Rob Bell. And we've got Danny Graves, closing. Fernando Rodney and Mark Guthrie, setup. Dave Veras, middle relief. Greg Swindell, Matt Manti. Pretty decent staff there. Lineups: Darren Erstad, Ben Grieve, Aubrey Huff, and there's A-Rod playing short. Carlos Lee, Jason Kendall, JT Snow, Aramis Ramirez. Wow, pretty good lineup here. Okay. White Sox. Did I get Boston's pitching? I can't remember now. Hold on. Yes, I did that already. Okay. White Sox. Pitching: Odalis Perez, Mark Burley, Joe Kennedy. Okay. Kaz Sasaki, the closer. We've got a lineup: Jock Jones, Brian Jordan, Jeff Kent, Klesko, Bellhorn, Lowell, Wilkerson, Varitek, Nick Johnson. That's a pretty good lineup there. All right, Cubbies. John Olerud, Pudge Rodriguez, Win and Young at the top, pretty good. Bottom of the order, a couple of platoon guys, it seems like here. Pitching: Oka, Beckett, Dessens, Bennis, Sarloos. And J.C. Romero's the closer here. I think for one of these I was scrolled down. I didn't see the closer. I'm trying to remember who that was. Let me go back for a minute here. Was it? No, I don't think it was them. I would think it was one of these first couple of teams here. There we go. Yeah, I missed. I saw it was on Hawkins as the setup guy, but they have Gagne as their closer. So, all right. Sorry about that. I realized that after the fact that I wasn't scrolled all the way to the top. Okay, we've got Mark Pryor, and then Kenny Rogers here. Keith Falk, the closer. Escobar in relief, pretty decent. And the Reds have Damon Dye, a couple of former Royals there. Brett Boone, cleanup spot. Leduc Azil, Vinny Castilla, Uribe. Okay. And we did their pitching already, so Indians: Sabathia, Nomo Perez, Suppan, and Rush. Got Mike DeJean as the closer. Looper and Gordon in setup. It's pretty decent there. Some good middle relief. The Indians lineup: Juan Pierre leading off, Jenkins, Sheffield, Koski, Drew, Young, Council, Casey, and Redmond. I think they've got a pretty good lineup there. The Rockies lineup: Durham Hatterberg, Vladdy G, Sr., Burl Ventura, Gonzalez, Patterson, Barrett, Halter. Okay, not too bad. Rockies pitching: Wade Miller, Brian Lawrence, Thompson, Sosa, Stevenson. Carsey is the closer. Little thin on pitching, I'm gonna say, just off the rip here. All right, Tigers pitching: Kerry Wood, Moyer, Johnson, Patterson, Eaton, and we've got Marte the closer, Bradford in setup. Some decent middle relief. Okay, we've got Adam Dunn in the leadoff spot. Interesting. Did draw a lot of walks back in the day. Kind of reminds me of having Schwarber in the leadoff role there. Although Schwarbs doesn't, I'm going to say probably doesn't whiff as much, but Moro, Palmero, Sosa, Schneider, Polanco, Larkin, Gutierrez, Wilton Guerrero. Okay. Marlins: David Eckstein, Higginson, Helton, Salmon, Vidro, Jeffrey Hammonds, Tatis Sr., Brent Butler, Josh Bard. Okay, pitching staff of Cologne, Wakefield, Glavine, Tomko, Jennings. That looks pretty solid. Grant Roberts is their closer. Moda. This back end of their pitching staff looks a little bit rough there. All right, Astros pitching. Halladay, Santana, Milton, Zambrano, Loesch. That could be pretty tough to go up against. Paul Shuey, the closer. Mike Jackson in the setup role. Fetters. Okay, decent relief. Lineups, we've got Orlando Cabrera, McGee, Mankiewicz, Bell, Anderson, Ausmus, Relaford, Easley, Palmeiro. I'm going to say that lineup's a little bit thin. So their pitching's going to have to carry them. Royals lineup, Lawton, Cameron, Alfonso, Garcia Parra, Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt, the Hit Dog Mo Vaughn, Alou, Charles Johnson, Andy Sheets. Liking this lineup here for the Royals. Mulder, Reed, Yoshi, Redding, Bernero. Pitching a bit thin after Mulder. Reed is okay. Closer, Scott Stewart, Arthur Rhodes in setup. So good lineup, rough pitching, I would say. Dodgers, Hudson, Lytle, Halama, Penny, Pavano, Jorge Julio, the closer, Brendan Donnelly, setup. Okay. Spivey, Peyton, Chipper Jones in left. Sexton, Batista, Conine, Womack, Trammell, Matheny. Okay. Brewers, we've got Renteria, Beltran, Pujols. Good top of the order here. Gonzalez, Tino, Hairston Jr., Mensch, Abernathy, Miller. Okay, bottom of the lineup, not so hot. Top 5, excellent. For the Brew Crew, we have rotation led by Mike Mussina. Then we have Lopez, Roop, Castillo, Moss, kind of mediocre there. Matt Anderson, the closer. David Weathers. Okay. Twins. Twins rotation. Morris, Washburn, Arroyo, Loiza, Duckworth. Young Kim, closer. Buddy Groom, setup. Lineup. Vizquel, Kennedy, Tomei, Millar, Fick, Matthews Jr., Macias, Houston, and Flaherty. Okay, a little more than halfway through here, guys. Get this going, get the season underway momentarily. Expos lineup: Mecklemore, Daubach, Kareem Garcia, Sweeney, Wilson, Randa, Wilson, Shinjo, Giles. Okay. Randy Johnson wound up back on the Expos. Look at that. Woody Williams, Monroe, Carlos E. Hernandez, and Bruce Chen. Closer, everyday Eddie Guardado, Francisco Cordero in a setup role. Benitez. Oh, this guy just gobbled up the closers, huh? All right. Yankees. Burnett, Fossum, Lackey, Reitzma, Cruz. A little bit thin on the rotation side, I'd say. Williamson, the closer. Gabe White, setup. Quantrill, Ricky Stone, J. Powell. Spezio, Hunter, Kearns, Giles, Mueller, Gutierrez, Lampkin, Offerman, Santiago. Well, I'm not overly stoked about the Yankees' chances in this. Mets lineup: Roberts, McGriff, Soriano, Berkman, Nevin, Long, Davy Cruz, Marrero, Javi Lopez. Pitching staff of Vasquez, Ronelvis Hernandez, Valdez, Adams, Colby Lewis. Juan Acevedo, the closer. Alfonseca, the setup man. They've got a decent team here. The A's have Jeff Weaver, Freddie Garcia, Harang, Armas, and Walker. Closer is Graysinger. Setup Andy Bennis. Questioning some of their choices here. Offensively, I like it though. Lofton, Bagwell, Green, Chavez, Wilson, Guzman, Crawford, Perez, Myers. That's a pretty good lineup. No complaints there if I'm an A's fan. Phillies got Nixon, Woodward, Manny being Manny, followed by Big Poppy. Gomez, Przynski, Jimenez, Blaylock, and Crisp. Pitching staff, Jason Schmidt, Ben Sheets, Burkett, Mayette, and Marquis. Closer, Rob Nen. This team looks like it's going to contend. Pirates, Peavy, Middlebrook, Burba, Towers, Sturts. Aishan is the closer, Embry and Shields in setup roles. Lineup of Ibanez, Lamb, Delgado, Piazza, Stairs, Wells, Aurelia, Graffinino, Hill. Like in the middle of the order there. Delgado, Piazza, Stairs, and Wells. Aurelia, yeah, it's pretty good. Ibanez leading off. Interesting choice, but see how that shakes out for the Buccos. And for the Friars, we've got for call Ellis, Bernie, Mondesi, Sierra, Lee, Vasquez, Hernandez, Ordonez. Ordonez, the DH. That's interesting. Oswalt, Wells, Dempster, Rincon. Dotel is the closer. RIP to Octavio Dotel and all of the folks affected in that tragic accident at the nightclub down in the Dominican Republic. Very sorry to hear that. Let's look at the next team is the Giants here. Zito, Batista, Apier, Coggin, and Nagel. Urbina the closer, Mesa the setup man. Castillo, Jeter, Abreu, Martinez, Cruz, Stewart, Cirillo, Diaz, and Surhoff. Alright, that's a pretty decent lineup there. So we'll see how the Giants fare in the simulation here. Mariners, we've got Biggio, Hernandez, Ordonez, Burks, Posada, Gloss, Stevens, Rowan, and Griffey Jr. Griffey Jr. hitting ninth. I'm going to, again, if this was something I was not doing as a tutorial, I would sit here and tweak all these lineups, and I'm not going to do that here. This is just for fun, and it's just a tutorial, so I'm not going to go too deep into the weeds here and mess with all these lineups and rotations. Mariners have Maddox, Radke, Meadows, Beret, Person. Closer is Billy Wagner. Setup is Jimenez. Todd Jones in relief. That looks like a fairly good bullpen there. Did I do their lineup? Losing track of what I did already. Did that one. Okay. Cardinals. Alright, almost done here with the lineups and rotations. Sanders, Lieberthal, Perry, Jeremy Giambi, Kevin Young, Sanchez, Berg, Lugo, Pickering. And in the rotation we have Lowe, Pettit, Maroth, Bird, and Haynes. Closer is Isringhausen. Setup is Percival. Interesting. Okay. I guess that's what you do when you get several closers. You gotta slot one in as the closer and one as the setup guy. So D-Rays, Clement, Pinheiro, Traxel, Ortiz, Molicki, Smoltz is the closer, Holmes and Borowski in a setup role. Lineup of Todd Walker, Karros, Floyd, Andrew Jones, Beltray, Guillen, Makowiak, Hall, and Juan Rivera. Okay, pretty good lineup there. Rangers have a lineup of Encarnacion, Boone, Walker, Durazo, Gant, Alomar, Tucker, Rollins, and Torrealba. And a pitching staff of Schilling, Lieber, Padilla, Astacio, and Alvarez. That looks pretty good. Billy Koch, the closer. Stanton, Witasek, Lloyd, Cianez. Pretty good relief staff there. Alright, last one is the Jays. Pedro Martinez, Redmond, Estes Benoit, and Hamilton. Mike Crudale, the closer, Boehringer in setup, so a little thin in relief here. Lineup of Kotze, Ochoa, Dimitri Young, Tejada, Valentin, Vina, Benito Santiago, White, and Hidalgo. Alright folks, I think that concludes the lineup and pitching staff review. And let's click on play over here. And let's go to a specified. Let's play until next month. How about? Let's do that. Alright, so we are underway here. Alright, hopefully I've set all of the settings properly here. It's been a while since I've done some out of the park simulating, so I hope I didn't miss anything. I mean, with all these games, there's definitely prep work, before you start your season. So hopefully I've done my homework and did this right. It's certainly possible that I missed a step or two, but attention, scheduled game cannot be completed, roster is over the limit. Okay, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Let's see what's going on with that. Okay, so it looks like I have 40 players and I need to be down to 25. So, assuming the computer did that for the other teams, let's just take a quick peek here. So yeah, 25 of 25. So let me go back to the Angels. And let's see, who can I move to reserves here? Wooten's going to go. I've got a ton of relievers here. So let's see who we have slotted into important roles, and the rest of the guys are going to drop. Alright, so I'm going to drop Springer, Pineda, Telford, Nagy, Merker, Plezak. Yeah, something like that. Fuentes. Alright, let's go back to roster. No, that's not what I wanted. Rosters and transactions. Here we go. Alright. Pineda, Nagy, Merker, Fuentes, I remember, Plezak, Telford, we'll come back to this, Anderson, Brown, Finley, Jones, Kyle, I'm assuming that's my full rotation there. And then, let's see, position player-wise, check our lineups, check our, this guy. So who's not in either lineup here? Looks like we've got a couple guys that get swapped in versus lefties. So, alright, yeah, we got a bunch of extra outfielders here. I think Cordova is probably going to sit. Marlins. Unfortunately, Al Martin. I think I'm going to leave Enrique Wilson just as an extra. He's going to be my spare infielder here. So let's see what that gets us. We might have to go with Julio Franco too. Let's see here. I need to cut 8 more guys here. Let's see. Cordova, Julio, I think. Travis Phelps. Where's Al Martin? Al Martin. Rock Reigns. I need three more guys here. Wilson's got to stay up as the backup infielder. Russ Springer might have been one. I don't remember saying his name earlier. Let's see. Who else do we got? Pedro Bourbon. Russ Springer. And if we sort by position, that might help me here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outfielders. This is kind of the twilight of his career, so unfortunately, I think Ricky's got to go. Yeah. Alright, well, let's go with that. So if I go to my roster now, 25 of 25, and let's try to continue. Okay. Okay, I don't care about the breaking news stuff, so let's go to play. And we're going to play until the next month, right? So let's try that. Here we go. Is this going to pop up every time I get news here? Breaking news, it's opening day. Next month. There we go. Sandy Alomar, day-to-day injury, recovery expected to take 4 days. Not moving him to the injured list, so let's just continue. Alright, we're about a week in here. Let's see what we got. Okay, almost to the end of the month. Eldridge, shoulder inflammation, he'll be out for about 6 months. Okay, well, that we need to do something about, right? So he goes to the injured list. 60 day. Okay, let's go to roster. No, let's go to, I like this roster view here. And we've got 24 out of 25 guys, so we're going to bring up a long reliever. Alright, so here's where maybe Travis Phelps comes in. 25 of 25 again. Alright. Play until, let's just do specified date. 30th, autoplay. Alright, and let's look at the standings. Alright, so on April 30th, well, I'm tied for first, but my whole division is within 2 games, so that's nothing right now. I guess we're a little bit early here to be looking at any of these things. Toronto up by 4, KC leading the Central. There's the wild card, and then we have the Marlins, Brewers, and Rockies ahead here. Okay. Probably too early to look at league leaders. Let's go to, I'll probably be interrupted, but let's play the next month. Hitting streak, Ichiro, okay, nice. Okay, continue. Now, that's not what I wanted to do. Cancel. I want to do next month here. All right. And we do have the league leaders on the side here. So that's a nice little, nice way to keep tabs on this during the replay here. So, for example, we've got Aubrey Huff, Todd Walker, Brian Snyder leading in batting average in the AL side. Chuck Finley, career strikeout 2,500. Okay, cool. Let's go back to our autoplay here. All right, what else? Sean Green with 22 jacks. Mark Bellhorn with 18. And Kent with 17. Juan Pierre with 31, 32 stolen bases here. And on the NL side, we've got Dan Wilson, Chipper Jones fighting it out for the batting race here. Manny Ramirez in there. Bonds with 28 homers. Pujols with 22. Oh, here we go. July 1st. All right. Well, where are we at? Angels are 5 back. White Sox ahead by 6.5. Jays are up by 6. Braves are up by 9.5. Oh, 3-way tie in the Central. Tight race there. And a tie for first here, the D-backs and the Rockies in the NL West. So we're in July. What if we play... The All-Star break is the 9th. So what if we played this until the All-Star teams are announced? All right. Where do we see that? Let's see. There should be like a news page here somewhere. All-Star fan voting update. Voting begins. So maybe I've got to get to one more. Go through one more game. Let's play. Okay, I got the spinning wheel here. This is probably my PC. I think I've got some Windows updates downloading right now, unfortunately. There we go, I'm back. Streaking. 7 consecutive Ks by K. Brown. Nice. Top 100 prospects. Not really interested. All-Star game rosters have been announced. There we go. Bam. Let's click on that. Okay, spinning wheel again. Sorry about that, folks. Not much you can do about that. Alright, come on, you can do it. There we go. All-Star game rosters have been announced. Half the season has been played. Now it's time for the All-Star game. Blah, 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 blah. Here's a list of talented stars on the AL roster. Finley, okay, that's my guy. Pedro. Mulder, Perez, Schilling, Washburn, Groom, Hasagawa. Okay, Hasagawa's mine. Mo Rivera's mine. Nice. Wagner, Kendall, Redmond, Snyder. Giambi. See if anything really stands out here. 20 dingers for Palmeiro, Randall Simon, 336 average, Adam Kennedy, Kent Walker, Chavez, Lowell, Bellhorn, Garcia Parra, A-Rod, 23 jacks for A-Rod, 28 for Bellhorn is pretty crazy. Floyd, Giles, Edmonds for my team. Sosa for the Tigers, 24 homers. Green, Sean Green for Oakland, 33 jacks. Nice. Klesko, Ordonez. And for the NL squad, we have Elmer Dessens on the Cubs, 10-3. Randy Johnson, Lopez, Lowe, Musina, Pettit, Valdez, Wolf, Brendan Donnelly, Dotel, Isringhausen, and then batters are Przynski, Pudge Rodriguez, Dan Wilson, Helton, Olerud, Sweeney, Vidro, Hillenbrand, Albert Pujols, 319 with a 593 slug, Roland, Derek Jeter, Bonds, 362, 36, 833 slug, Jeremy Giambi, Luis Gonzalez, Chipper Jones, Manny Ramirez, Bobby Abreu, Brian Hunter, Kareem Garcia, and Tim Salmon. So a mix of guys that you think would have been there and some interesting other choices. Play until, let's see, how about continue autoplay to event. Alright. So I'm thinking we'll play the All-Star game. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but we'll play the All-Star game, then we'll finish out the rest of the season, look at the results. If my computer will cooperate here. Here we go. Bonds claims the Home Run Challenge title. Okay, interesting. Today's the All-Star game. Play. Okay, Bonds claims Home Run Challenge title. Interesting. Continue. Finish today. That's kind of painful here with this, whatever's going on in the background here on my machine, but I'm just going to fight through it because I want to complete this video here, get it up on my YouTube channel. So apologize for the delays, but hopefully once the game is underway, we'll be good to go. So what does this say? The Bonds beat Sosa 16-12. Okay. Alright, where's the game? Did I miss the All-Star game? I missed the All-Star game. Okay, well, I guess there was a checkbox that I needed to hit in order to play it. So let's view the results anyway. Sorry about that. I thought we would actually let it play out here, but we're just going to breeze through the rest of the season here, see what the results are after we click on this note. So my apologies, it's been a while since I've played out of the park, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple things along the way here. Alright, what do we got? NL earned bragging rights with a 6-2 win over the AL. Mike Sweeney was named MVP for his efforts. View box score. Let's check the box score. We could watch highlights too. I guess I have that enabled. So let's check out the box score first. And here we go. Alright. So Giles did something there. Edmonds 2 for 4. Not a whole lot going on for the AL. I'll get to the NL in a second here. I do like the fact that they play it like an actual all-star game, at least the current. Not that I'm a fan of these guys just going an inning or stuff, but at least the computer knows that, hey, this is an all-star game. I'm going to treat this differently. My pitcher in real life, 2002, is not going to go 7 innings in an all-star game or whatever. So let's see. Yeah, Mulder gave up a home run in the first. That was the only home run in the game. Hasagawa took the loss there. And let's look over here. Sweeney. Bonds homered off Mulder in the first. Sweeney off Wagner. I missed that. Okay, yeah, Wagner gave up a home run. Okay, pitching wise, Lowe, Musina, Dessens, Randy Johnson, Pettit. Pettit gave up 2 runs but got the win. Isringhausen got the save. Alright, I'm not going to do highlights from this. So let's just cruise on through the next month here. Continue. Alright, doing our autoplay. Here we go. Alright, mid-July coming up. Okay, Oakland out in front by 6.5 over the Angels. David Justice, 5 days, not doing anything with that. Keep going. And who else is here? We got the Jays up by 7.5. We got the White Sox up by 9. Orioles in the lead for the wild card by 4 over the Twins. And in the National League, we've got the Braves up by 6.5 on the Mets. The Brew Crew holding a 1.5 game lead over the Cardinals. And the Rockies 1.5 up on the D-backs. The D-backs in the lead for the wild card here. Right. Adam Kennedy atop the batting leaders there. Player of the week, Derek Lee. Okay, nice. Let's just keep going here, guys. Sean Green, 40 homers, 91 ribbies. Pierre, 54 steals, 55 steals now. Batting war, Jeff Kent. And over here we've got Bonds, leading in average, leading in homers with 45, 114 ribbies. Alex Sanchez with 71 steals, Dave Roberts with 60. And Bonds obviously leading in WAR, 9.2. We are at mid-August now. Oh, Angels creeping back in it. We're 4.5 back. Orioles 4 back of the Jays. White Sox look like they've locked up the Central there, 14.5 up on KC. Orioles maintain a 4-game, 4.5 game, 5.5 game, I'm going to stop, lead in the wild card there. And Ichiro will be out with a fractured jaw, out for 4 weeks. Ouch. Okay. Ichiro out, 15-day IL. And let's go take a look at our reserve outfielders. Where are we? Here. Alright, let's by position. Ichiro's my right fielder. So, got a bunch of left fielders. Somebody's going to have to play right for me here. I think Justice can play if he's back. I'll let the computer figure that out. But let's get... Ricky Al Martin, Tim Raines. We're going to bring Ricky up. Okay, Ricky is up. I'm not going to worry about the lineup. Computer can figure that out. Specified date. Let's play until September 1st and see where we're at here. Autoplay. Here we go. Alright. And we're underway again. August 22nd. Angels beat the Yankees. Angels beat the Red Sox. Okay. Just kind of sitting here in the weeds. 5 back, 6 back. Oh, Mariners are ahead of me in the wild card now. Alright, now we have a... right now we can expand our roster. So everybody up. Alright. Probably a way to do this entire thing in bulk. I don't recall. I'm sure that's probably a thing. You're all up. Come on down. Bam. Alright. Quick look at the standings here. Jays up by 6. White Sox, magic number of 6. They're going to clinch momentarily. A's up on the Angels by 6.5. But we're only 1 back in the wild card, so hopefully we can get in the playoffs somehow here. Braves over the Expos. Brewers over the Cardinals, Rockies over the D-backs, and D-backs lead only by 1 game over the Cardinals and 2.5 over the Cubs in the wild card. So there's still some intrigue here with the standings. Let's continue on. Play until regular season ends. Let's just do this. See where we wind up. All right. Bonds with 57 homers, 142 ribbies. Oh, Maglio Ordonez just pulled into the lead in the AL batting race. What do I have here? Jim Edmonds, 36-game on-base streak, and 27-game save streak by Mo Rivera. Ichiro is eligible to come off the IL. Cools. You're back, dude. All right. Good. Let's go till regular season ends. Attention, Bobby Jones diagnosed with a strained hammy. He'll be out for 4 weeks. Alrighty, where are you? There you go. You're out. Okay, play till end of regular season. Hopefully no more injuries here. And let's see, September 24th, 25th. Okay. And let's take a look at the leaderboard here. Standings. Okay. Alright, let's take a look at the final standings here for the regular season. We've got the Jays, 6 games over the Orioles. Central Division is the White Sox, 98 victories. And that leads the majors here. And the Angels and the A's tied. Angels with a 10-game winning streak at the end. That's super cool. Not sure how we're going to figure out the winner here. Let's see how that gets resolved. And we've got the Braves, 2 games over the Expos. Brewers 6 up on the Cardinals. Rockies 8 up on the D-backs, and the Cardinals pull out the wild card by a single game. All right, play. What's our next game here? Play until playoffs begin. All right, so do we have a play-in or something to determine who wins the division here? I'm not sure. What are we doing here? Let's see what happens. D-Lee, 2020 player going to the playoffs. Okay, nice. Yep, there we go. Whatever game we played there, we won, and the A's lost. We won 11 in a row here to get into the playoffs. All right, so now we've got the playoffs coming up. Let's take a quick look at statistics here. Alright, batting leaders, Bonds. Oh, this is overall, that's fine. Bonds. And it looks like Kennedy took the batting crown in the AL there. Adam Kennedy, so congrats. Ribbies, Bonds. 154, wow. Sean Green leads the AL with 130. Bonds leads the way in slugging. Almost 200 points higher than Green. Sorry. Bonds leading the way in WAR. Jeff Kent second. Aubrey Huff, 210 hits. Doubles, Singleton, 63. Bonds, 404 total bases. Caught stealing, Dave Roberts. Bonds, 174 walks. Sack flies, ISO, WPA. Alright, over here, home runs, 62 for Bonds. Sean Green leading the AL with 49. Bonds with on base, of course. Bonds OPS. Chris Singleton, 706 at-bats for the Braves. Bonds, 141 runs. Frank Catalanato, nice, 18 triples. Tied with Crawford there. And Alex Sanchez, 100 steals. Cool. Dunn, 224 Ks. Yikes. Let's see, do we care about any of this other stuff? I'm going to go with no. Pitching leader is Rodrigo Lopez from Milwaukee, 2.51. Pedro, 2.52. A lot of guys I would not expect to see in here. Kevin Napier, 21 losses. Sorry, 28 wins for Odalis Perez. Wow. Jeff Weaver next with 20. 28, that's incredible. 44 saves for Scott Stewart. Again, condolences and RIP to Dotel there. 275 innings for O'Dallas. War leader, Schilling. Alright, so these are more the guys I would probably expect to see up in the top of these lists here. Schilling 318 Ks, Pedro next, Randy Johnson third, Santana fourth. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Burnett 125 walks, Kerry Wood next with 123. Let's see what else we got here. Alright. I'm going to say let's just jump into the playoffs here. Play until next playoff round. Alright. Too many players on our active roster. Well, let's fix that. Let's drop everybody that we had brought up in September, I guess. Cordova, Henderson, Al Martin, Tim Raines. Keep going. Julio Franco, I think, was down. Wooten was down. Bourbon, Fuentes, Merker, Phelps. I think Phelps was up. I hate when that happens. Get back here. Here we go. Alright, Pineda. I think Phelps was up for Eldred, so I probably gotta leave him there. Plesac down. Springer, Dinger, Telford. I'm at 25. Alright. 25-man roster. Let's go. Playoffs it is. Play until next playoff round. Alright. Oh, and it looks like I'm out. Playoff coverage. And division series. Toronto wins 3-1. So Pedro defeated Kevin Brown. Garrett Anderson homered. Benito homered for Toronto. Jays won again. Redmond beat Brian Anderson. Valentin and Rondell White with homers. Angels won here. Hasagawa over Crudale. Eduardo Perez, sorry. And Matt Williams, Josh Phelps homered there. And then the Jays move on with a win here. Benoit defeating Kyle. De Los Santos with a save. Alright. The other division series, we had Oakland defeating the White Sox 3-2. So the White Sox, the 98-game winning White Sox, are out of the playoffs. They won the first game. Dallas Perez winning. And then Oakland won game 2, game 3. White Sox came back in game 4. In game 5, the A's prevailed. Alright, over in the NL, we have the Rockies advancing over the wild card Cardinals in a 3-2 series win. And Cardinals took game 1, Rockies took game 2 and 3 here. 2 homers by Herb Perry, game 1 there. And yeah, the Rockies took game 5. Alright, the Braves defeating the Brewers 3-2. So my Angels were the only ones that could not take the series to a full 5 games. That's great. Let's see here. Braves went up 2-0. The Brewers tied it. And the Braves took game 5. Millwood, and Hoffman getting the save over Musina. Musina went 0-2. All right, let's go play until next playoff round. Okay, we have the League Championship Series here. Jays over the A's. Alright, so I don't feel too bad. Looks like the Jays are advancing here. Pedro Martinez. Bagwell homering for Oakland here. The A's get their only victory in Game 3 there. Lofton with a homer. Jays defeat the A's 6-5. Lofton another homer. And Jays heading to the World Series. Pedro Martinez gets the victory. Series MVP Dimitri Young. Okay, and in the NL, the Rockies defeat the Braves 4-3. Let's see here. Al Leiter took Game 1. Guerrero with a homer for Colorado. Then Game 2 had homers from Roland, Barrett, Guerrero. Rockies with the win. Rockies win Game 3. Braves knot the series at 2 apiece at Game 4. Vladdy G homered there again. Game 3, I missed that. Leiter goes to 2-0 here in the series as the Braves take a 3-2 lead, and then Colorado comes back and beats them in Game 6 and Game 7 to advance. Vlad Guerrero, 5 homers in the series. Series MVP, Vladimir Guerrero. And he went 5. Oh, okay, he has 5 homers in the playoffs, I think that means. But in this series, he had 3 homers, 8 ribbies. He only hit 200, but he did knock in 8 runs. So, all right, we go to the World Series. Let's play until playoffs end. Oh, Bobby Jones eligible to come off the IL. That's great. Don't care. Yeah, I see that. Okay. What do you want me to do? You want me to move him here? I'll move him. There. Okay. Don't bother me. I'm in the playoffs here. Right. Toronto wins it 4-2. I refuse to call a 52-year-old man Sparky. That's awesome. All right. Let's see. Season is over. Blah, 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 blah. Where is the end of season? Oh. That's my last game. I want to see the World Series, and I want to see, where is it? Come on, help me out here. Jays win the World Series. Here we go. That's just the news from that day. Where can I see? Here we go. Let's just scroll back a little bit here. Colorado, Toronto. Okay, so that would have been Game 1, right? Yeah. There we go. So we had the Jays win the first game 9-6. Hamilton with the win. Player of the game, Alex Ochoa. I'm not going to look at all the box scores here. Pat Burrell with a homer. All right, Game 2. We've got Ochoa, B. Phillips, Redmond with the win. Crudale with the save. And here we've got Colorado 13-6 pummeled the Jays in this one. 2 homers by Ray Durham. Okay, Ochoa with another dinger. Patterson and Ventura homers. Colorado takes this one 8-5. Toronto 2-1. Tight ball game here. Halter with a homer. Santiago and Valentin, so all solo homers in this one. Martinez with the win. Pedro with the player of the game. No game scheduled. Then we had Toronto wins the series 4-2 with a shutout here. Mark Redmond goes to 4-0 in the playoffs with an .064 ERA. Crudale with his 7th save. Player of the game, Redmond. All right. So that is going to wrap it up here. And what was I going to look at? The awards, if I can find them. Award voting. Let's see. Current ballot. Ballot is unofficial until submitted. You may vote up to 10 players. Okay, I'm not going to bother doing this. So if you so choose, you can vote for MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, so forth. I'm not going to bother with that. But anyway, that's going to wrap up this portion of the video on how to conduct a draft in Out of the Park, and then simulate a season, review the results. Obviously, I just let the computer autoplay, but you can sit there and manage all the games for one team if you wish. Whatever you want to do. You can set up leagues. You can have multiple humans drafting and so forth. I just did the tutorial flying solo just to show you how to do it. I think I may have missed a check mark here and there, but hopefully the main setup was fairly correct. Obviously, if you see something I missed, you can post it in the comments. So hope you're taking away something from each of these tutorial videos. And thanks again for watching. Take care, keep playing ball, and we'll see you soon.